Here with Bart Scott, time for us to go viral, sponsored by Best Western Hotels and Resorts. The Eagles are bringing Darren Sproles back on a one-year deal, which prompted them to dig up this throwback video of a young Sproles tearing up defenses back in Pop Warner. Look at him.
Man, so Darren Sproles from my hometown area and my exact age, and I remember being a little kid and hearing about this tiny guy across state lines in Kansas that was just killing people. And then in high school, his high school highlight film might be even better than that. He has been just running past people and juking people as the littlest guy on the field since, as you can see, since he was 5 years old.
I have a criteria when I watch these little highlights and everything. I want to see how many black people they run past.
He was in Kansas, right?
He was in your neighborhood. He was running past a bunch of white kids. Number 43.
Mom, I like that invisible juice on.
He was unbelievable.
My brother used to tell me that. You think you're good? Wait till you get outside of Middletown. They got something for you.
All right, some stories to start your morning now. Some bad news for an already depleted Patriots receiving corps. Julian Edelman will reportedly miss multiple weeks of training camp with a thumb injury. CC, what would the Patriots receiving corps look like without Julian Edelman?
Jenna, I don't even know. I always joke about it's going to be very, very vanilla, but I don't know who they're going to put out there. They're going to run the ball. They're going to run the ball 55 times the first 2 weeks of the season.
They'll lose the first two. They'll lose two games in the first month, and then they'll go on a run like 11 straight.
All right, some tough news for Melvin Gordon as he looks for a new deal. Reports that he and the Chargers are far apart on an extension. Nick, you think they get the deal done soon?
Nah, not unless the Chargers are going to stop being the Chargers. I mean, listen, that Spanos family isn't into giving out money even to people they draft first round, first contract. Nah, you got to.
Melvin don't deserve it, though. He ain't been healthy. And he just saw what happened to Ty Gurley.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if he doesn't,
I said it. Keep it real.
I think he's going to cost himself some money.
Went over 1,000 one time.
Them Wisconsin running backs, man, you can't depend on them besides James White as receiver out of the backfield.
That's a good point.
They don't have great pro careers.
Wisconsin.
Yeah. Eat that, Ron Dane.
Cowboys.
No, Ron Dane did.
He did eat that. Yeah, that's a good point.
He was the football version of Zion.
Okay. Cowboys training camp just a week away, and there's still some questions looming, namely, will Ezekiel Elliott be there? According to reports, he doesn't actually know yet. The fourth-year running back with 2 years left on his deal has yet to decide if he will be a holdout. Bart, how important is it for the Cowboys to get a deal done with Zeke?
I mean, it's extremely important, but it all depends on what type of professional Ezekiel is. If he's looking at Le'Veon Bell, and Le'Veon Bell is trying to start a new trend about guys sitting out, resting their bodies, and trying to force their way out, then it could be a problem for the Dallas Cowboys because they're in this small window before they have to play a lot of players in their prime. But you also are setting the precedent when you talk about, you know, a player with 2 years left on his deal, a running back. You want to buy into Ezekiel Elliott right now in the middle of his career. We would hope to think that maybe he has 9 years in him. Good. You know, if you buy 9, then you're going to pay him for what he did at the beginning of his career, not what you're going to get at the end, because he's going to have to eventually start splitting time. They should have drafted another running back that they can depend on in the future. But he's important for their offense. He accounted last year for 36% of their offense. He allows the play action for Dak Prescott, who's not a great pocket quarterback, but he's not quite the mobile quarterback that we think of. We think, oh, under 6 feet, black guy, should be athletic, should be Russell Wilson, be able to get time out of the pocket. He's not one of these guys that's going to make guys miss. So they need Ezekiel Elliott so that he can make sure that he can grab the safeties, grab the linebackers, and create open windows for Dak, who's not the tallest quarterback in the pocket to begin with.
Well, and here's where the Cowboys are also boxed in, at least to a degree. They've already set this precedent. They'll pay guys with 2 years left. There's Tyron Smith got paid with 2 years left on his deal.
Running back, though.
I understand he's a running back, but I am saying first-round pick, high achiever, all-pro, you know, check, check, check. And they've paid guys this early before. Now, they got Tyron on an incredible bargain where it was basically team option after team option, a deal he maybe regrets that he signed. But it's not, they can't say what certain teams can say, which is, Pittsburgh Steelers, these are the types of contracts we sign. We've always done it. So why would you think you're different? So the precedent's already been set in that regard for one player at least. And then he also has leverage in this regard. The point you made to me is the most important one. This is such a wildly important year for Dallas because the team gets so much more expensive after this year that all of a sudden you're going to have to start cutting talent. You're not going to be able to keep all of those all-pro offensive linemen. I know they're all under contract, but this is a hard cap league. Like, when Dak gets paid, Amari gets paid, we think Byron Jones is going to get paid. All those guys with just 1 year left on their deal. Zeke also, if he doesn't get paid now, would certainly get paid a year from now. So they know the importance of this season, and I don't think anyone thinks Zeke's going to sit out a whole season. But if he sits out the first 2 games, when you're going to be favored against the Giants, favored against Washington, and instead of being 2-0, you're 0-2, that can decide your season.
Didn't Smith do that?
He did. They went 0-2. They ended up winning the Super Bowl, but that team went 15-2 the rest of the way. That team also had Hall of Famers everywhere. It was an all-time great team coming off a Super Bowl. This Cowboys team, I don't think, can say, well, we survived that Emmett holdout. By the way, he got paid. Yeah. He held out for 2 weeks. They went 0-2, got paid. They were able to overcome it. I don't think that's realistic for the Cowboys.
The other problem is Jerry Jones talks a lot, and Stephen Jones talks a little bit, and they've made these sort of loose promises, both that they love Zeke and they love Dak and they love Amari Cooper and they want everyone to get paid, and Dak's been talking, and they've sort of backed themselves into a little bit of a corner with what they're going to do before the season starts. But doesn't the team have a little bit of leverage just because of some of the off-the-field issues and whatnot that Zeke has gotten himself into, maybe enough that it could carry them at least for another year before they pay him?
You can never think in sports the team don't have leverage, because it might not be the smart thing to do, but the team can do something idiotic. We've seen them do it all the time. So we can't act as if, oh, the player holds all the cards. No. Dallas Cowboys are going to play football if Zeke decides not to come or not. That's how they're going to do it. And the player knows that. L. Bell, the last 2, what happened to him? They played football, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, they didn't make the playoffs, but the world didn't end. They will keep going on without you. It's important as a running back that Ezekiel Elliott, because he is the best player on that team. And if he holds out, stays firm to his stance, I'm the best player. You might love your quarterback, but I'm better than him. You might love some other guys on the defense. Byron Jones, he might need a contract. Amari, you might like, but I'm better than them. I'm the best player on the team. If Zeke keeps that as the #1 thing, I believe they're going to have to pay him.
And he has the shortest shelf life, right? All these other guys can wait to get paid. They can franchise tag them because he's the one taking hits. He's going to take, 400 or 500 hits, in a season, probably a lot more than that, depending on how many touches he's picking up blitzers and all that stuff. At some point, you're going to understand that Zeke has to understand this is the most leverage he's going to have, because Jason Garrett didn't get that contract extension. So I'm sure he's in the office in the ear like, hey, I need this guy, because he's coaching for his football life as well.
Well, and when I said he has leverage, the team always has the hammer, because I think Zeke has the most leverage a running back with 2 years left on his deal can have, which still is not as much leverage as the team ultimately does. If he really believes, man, they're not going to pay me this year, so I'm just costing myself money, or does he believe he can win a staring contest?
Or he can come in and say, oh, my arm.
Yeah.
And still get that check.
Go to the back and the hamstring. They can't, no MRIs.
We'll see you in a little bit. Coming up, look who's here. Giants tight end Evan